Hello, and thanks for watching this instructional on the new rolled edge pizza. We'll start with dough preparation. These rolled edge pizzas call for the Rich's 09718 16-inch pre-sheeted raw dough, along with shredded mozzarella, pizza sauce, and the ingredients called for in each recipe. We'll start with panning the frozen dough to proof, best done the day before service. On a full sheet pan lined with parchment paper, take a parchment square from inside the case and place it on the pan. Spray it lightly with pan spray and place the first dough on top of it at one end of the pan. Take the second sheet of parchment from inside the case, place it over the dough, spray it, then flip it over and place it over the dough. Spray it again and place a second dough on top of it. Take the next sheet of paper from the case, spray it, flip it over, and spray that side as well, and stagger them as you go. Continue placing dough and spraying both sides of parchment paper until you get to the other end of the pan and have 4 doughs on a sheet pan. Next, you'll wrap your dough. You'll cater wrap the dough. Pull a length of plastic out that's longer than the width of the pan and place one end of the pan on the plastic, leaving a little extra to overlap. Trim the plastic and fold it over so that you seal it at the sides and at the end. Then pull a second length of plastic out and seal the other end of the pan in the same way, making sure there's plenty of overlap in the middle. This method helps assure that air can't get into the pan and dry out your pizza dough. If you just covered the top, you'd likely have air leaks and dried out dough. This dough should now be refrigerated overnight to begin to thaw and rise. 2 to 3 hours before baking, the dough should be removed from the refrigerator and held at room temperature to accelerate proofing. At the end of 2 or 3 hours, the dough will dimple when poked softly with a fingertip, and a distinct yeast smell will rise from the dough. It's now ready. To screen a dough for topping and baking, place a 16-inch screen on the work table and place a dough on top of the screen, paper side down. Hold a second screen over the dough and spray it with pan spray. Then flip the screen over and place it centered on the dough. Grasp both screens and flip them over, removing the first screen and the paper. The dough is now ready to top. To prepare the rolled edge crust, take a section of dough in both hands and gently pull it away from the center, stretching the dough 1 inch. Continue to work around the dough, pulling a consistent 1-inch stretch and using both hands evenly. The dough is now ready to top. We'll start with sauce. Pizza recipes call for 6 fluid ounces or 3/4 cup of sauce. Using a spoodle, scoop a level 6 ounces of sauce and deposit it in the center of the dough. And using the back of the spoodle, begin spreading the sauce, working in ever-growing circles to spread it from the center. Strive to spread an even layer. You should extend sauce out to the edge of the screen underneath the dough. You'll see the edge of the screen through the dough, and you want to get as close to the edge as possible. Next, add cheese. Both the cheese pizza and the pepperoni pizza call for 1 pound or 4 cups of cheese. Be sure to measure and use just the right amount. You'll use the opposite direction, working your way from outside to inside when you apply cheese, and you'll find you use about half the cheese on the outer ring. The second half will fill in the middle. Your goal is a nice even coverage, and the cheese should just cover the sauce, not out further, although there's no harm if a stray strand or two goes out to the edge. Now we'll roll the edge. Start with the edge closest to you and fold the edge up and over the cheese. You'll find it stays put as you get going. Use both hands, with one hand folding, and the other hand holding the just folded section closed. You'll occasionally get creases and edges folded on top of each other, and that's okay. Your goal is a consistent fold all the way around the pizza. If a section tries to unfold, a gentle tap with your fingertips will glue it to the cheese, just as you see in the video. The fold will stay in place as it bakes, creating a stuffed crust experience. We've shown you the cheese pizza. The pepperoni pizza uses the same amount of sauce and cheese, so it's easy to do the pepperoni right from the cheese pizza, since the toppings are added after the edge is rolled. For pepperoni, you'll place 32 slices of pepperoni, starting from the outside, just like when you were applying cheese. Place the pepperonis around the outside. Space them evenly and just separate from each other. You'll find that roughly half of your pepperonis cover the outside ring. The other half of your pepperonis will make the inside rings. Now, a good tip is to avoid putting a pepperoni slice right in the center. It gets mangled when the pizza is cut. Your goal is even coverage so that each slice has a consistent amount of pepperoni on it, and that same logic applies to all toppings. So this is what the fully topped rolled edge pizza looks like when it's ready to bake. There are also multiple specialty pizzas in the new rolled edge series. We'll demonstrate one here that has protein with the toppings, in this case, chicken. Always refer to the recipes for the specialty pizzas and the build specifics. We'll start with 6 ounces of sauce on this pizza, just like the rest, and it gets applied the same way, from the center in concentric circles working outside to the edge of the screen underneath the dough. Because this pizza has additional protein on it, we're going to apply just 2 cups of cheese, not 4. Using the same outside-in method, just like the others, you'll find that half the cheese covers the outside ring. The remaining cheese fills the center. Then you'll roll the edge just like the other pizzas. Once you've rolled the edge, you'll apply the other toppings. At least, the other toppings that are intended to be baked onto the pizza as called for in the recipe. So review the recipe carefully and closely. And when you apply these ingredients, make sure you cover evenly and consistently. In this case, chicken is the additional protein, and it is important that this is scattered evenly so that there's a consistent amount on each slice. Notice the care that the pizza maker is taking to get consistency and also to not bulk any ingredient over top each other. With the final step, a small amount, 1/4 cup of mozzarella is applied over the toppings just to help melt and keep them in place. So, our pizzas are now ready to bake. In a convection oven set to 375 degrees, you'll place these pizzas directly in the oven, right on the rack. The bake time is 7 to 10 minutes depending on the performance of the oven. To safely remove them, use a glove and a set of tongs. The tongs can grab the edge of the screen and give a gentle shake to the pizza, exposing the screen edge. The finished crust will be golden brown and fully bloomed. The edge of the crust should be lightly brushed with oil using a pastry brush before cutting the pizza into 8 cuts. or as directed. Notice that the edge of the pizza remained rolled, and it creates a bit of a well for the ingredients to sit in, and a nice handle to grab hold of. Some of the specialty pizza recipes call for additional garnishes and toppings after baking. They add flavor and color to the natural raw state. In this example, a yogurt sauce is drizzled in a zigzag pattern on this curried chicken pizza. Then a garnish of chopped cilantro is evenly applied. Refer to the recipe to know which specialty pizzas call for garnish after baking, and apply those garnishes after the pizza is oiled and cut, so the garnishes stay intact and attractive. Thanks for watching this tutorial.